Today is Tuesday, the 31st day of the Omer, which is 4 weeks and 3 days. We're in the 5th week of the Omer. Again, the whole week, the 5th week is under the heading of Hod, which could be summarized as humility in thankfulness, in admitting fault when the person is at fault. But humility could be the heading in explaining what Hod is. That's for the whole 5th week. And today we focus on Tiferet, shebahod. Tiferet is a merging of loving kindness and discipline, could be explained as compassion. So today, the aspect that we focus on is compassion within humility. And in a way, if you have compassion, then that brings humility to the person. So compassion within humility is the idea that we focus on today as we improve ourselves day after day to merit the receiving of the Torah on the day of Shavuot. The parasha of this week includes with it a mitzvah or a couple of mitzvot that have to do with giving of loans. Of course, we should always remember that the Torah covers every aspect of life. It's a manual, owner's manual for life, and including even loan transactions between Jews. So when a person gives a loan to a fellow Jew, you're not allowed to charge interest on the loan. Actually, before it goes into the idea of the rules that have to do with giving loans, the pasuk says, "Ki yamuch ahicha," when your brother, in other words, when a fellow Jew is weak, meaning financially or otherwise, also ve'echzak tabo, you have a mitzvah to hold him up. In other words, you see somebody who's getting in trouble, don't wait until he's all the way down on the ground. But you see that he's faltering, you have a mitzvah to get involved and help him, to hold him up before he goes all the way down. It's a lot harder to come up from a bankruptcy than to come up from a financial difficulty. If somebody's giving you a hand, maybe the correct advice, maybe giving you a loan so that you can sort of go over a bump of a difficult time to get back on the path of solvency. So if you see somebody faltering and in trouble, that's ki yamuch achicha ve'echzak tabo. You have a mitzvah to hold him up, to sort of like hold his hand in a way by giving him any assistance that will help him to stay afloat rather than to sink. Now, if a person needs a loan and you give him a loan as from one Jew to a fellow Jew, you're not allowed to charge interest. And even let's say somebody wants to use your credit card, and you allow him to do that, and there is a percentage, let's say, that he's charged because it's not paid in full that month, you're not allowed to say, look, use the credit card, you pay the interest on it. That would not be allowed, because in essence, you've given him a loan, and the bank is charging you interest, and now you collecting the interest from him to pay to the bank. So it's like you've given him a loan that he's returning a higher amount than what he borrowed. That's also not allowed. And there are many situations where actually in our library here at Emabanim, a whole book that deals with the idea of not charging interest with all sorts of situations in modern day life that could come up, in terms of assuming loans on a property or checks that are post-dated that you want to cash in advance, and there's a discount. Also situations, how about invoices that don't get paid on time? Are you allowed to charge your clients a couple of percent above if they pay after a certain date? That also would be a situation of interest. You can give a discount, but to charge more because it took longer to pay, when it's a loan transaction or something that could be construed as a loan, it's something that we are to be careful with. However, what is allowed to do is to have what's called a joint venture, which means if you give a loan to someone, not as a loan, but as an investment into a business venture that he's doing, and you're going to benefit from the profits, that would be permissible 100%. And that's why some transactions that could be looked at as a loan, if they're changed into an investment and a joint venture, then those would be permissible. And for that, there is a document called the Heter Iska, which is a document that basically documents certain financial transactions that are possible to document that way, as an investment into the ventures that that person would do with that money, and there you can share with the profits. And it's a very detailed document, and it's something that is available if a person needs to do a transaction where he will have some kind of benefit by being a partner in the profits from that transaction. So this is some of the laws that are, the source for them is in the parasha of this week that we'll read this coming Shabbat. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.